Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with Mark and Brittany Maya from Board Game Coffee, a high-energy, fun-filled YouTube channel that brings you the inside scoop on the hottest board games in a fun and refreshing way. Reviews, previews, playthroughs, how-to-plays, and unboxings, whatever your flavor, you'll find it on Board Game Coffee. Mark and Brittany, welcome to the binge. How are you?
Hey, we're great. Thanks for the intro.
Hey, that's just a snippet of what you guys do. But I thought the first thing we could do is actually get you guys to explain, in your own words, what is Board Game Coffee?
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Well, clearly we're people that can't make up our mind on who does the talking.
But, as most couples, right? Yeah.
So Board Game Coffee is a social media channel. Our primary focus is YouTube and Instagram, although we do have Twitter and Facebook as well. But our YouTube channel, we make a lot of videos, and they're all very different. We have our unboxings that are very detailed and in 4K. We have our previews and reviews, which I personally find hilarious. And then we have just our playthroughs, and we pretty much cover everything board game related. Mm-hmm. So that's what our channel is, and we try to present it in a different way. And I think you really get a sense of that when you watch our previews or our review videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you guys are now up to 6.7 thousand subscribers on Facebook, which is pretty impressive, and 11,000 Instagram followers. And you've only been doing this for 2.5 years. Now, for the people that are either listening on the podcast or watching, I met the Board Game Coffee team about 2 years ago, actually at Breakout Con in Toronto. You guys are there talking to different people, reviewing games. I had a table at the time and we started chatting, and I learned a little bit about you guys. And it's pretty incredible to see where you were then 2 years ago. So you were doing it for about a half a year, I guess, yeah. To where you are right now. Like, you guys churn out an incredible amount of content.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for noticing. And it's actually going to pick up in the next month or two. Actually, we've got a few things where we want to try out. But it's interesting you brought up Breakout Con, because that was our first board game con.
It was.
Yeah, that was our first board game con.
Oh, really?
And then after that, after Breakout Con, it was just like a rocket as far as like we started meeting other people in the industry. We started getting requests to do videos. Like, a whole bunch of things happened after that. It was, I don't know if Breakout Con was like lit the fuse, or it was just a coincidence of timing, or maybe it just got us excited because once we experienced that. But yeah, things really ramped up after Breakout Con last year.
So how did this all start? Like, how does somebody decide to get into doing, content creation on, board games? Like, how did this all start? Were you board game fans, or just walk us through kind of the history of how this thing came together?
Well, I played board games before, but I was when I played board games, I was that guy that said, why would you ever buy another board game before you've played the one you already have? I don't say that anymore, no. But I did. Okay, but I also didn't have a board game channel to, work on at the same time. It was all about like me time. And then when I met Brittany, when we started going out, I started introducing her to new games. She had some board game experience.
Yeah, I ran a board game conference with a team of individuals that turned into like a Comic-Con in the city.
Oh, wow.
So traditionally, we're both from video games and the digital media and technology sector. So we went from the digital side into kind of unplugging, and the conference it was helping families at the time. So we were doing a lot of board games with a lot of family-friendly board games. So I was doing more of like the casual gaming. But loved it. So then when we started dating, it was a way for us to kind of unplug and bond. So we started playing board games, and then I really wanted to do an online website, and
that wasn't necessarily board game related.
That was not necessarily board game related. At the time, we were kind of thinking technology.
Yep.
And then we were doing a lot of hosting at the time, where we were having friends come over, and friends were actually coming over and being like, can you teach us this game? Because Mark, as you know, is great at teaching games and kind of explaining like the whole theme of things. So we started doing that often, and then we kind of decided like, hey, why don't we maybe think about making a board game? And then we started doing a little bit of research into what we needed to do in order to make a board game. And then I threw out the idea of, why don't we do some videos? And I lost. So Mark was like, no, I definitely don't want to do that. Because of course I wanted to be on the other side of the camera, not in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little more shy than Mark. And then we started talking about it more. And then I won the second time around. And we literally, Rising Sun was our first game that we decided to do. And it was kind of like, well, Rising Sun is supposed to
do
be
a video for.
A video for. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry. It's coming next week. If we're going to do this, this is an awesome game to do it because the minis are beautiful. So then it was literally like, we had 5 days to prep for it. And I actually came home from a conference that day. I got home at like 7 o'clock off the train. And then we literally like shot our first video, and you edited it on the phone, on like our iPhone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And like we shot it on the iPhone, edited it on the iPhone, and it was up. And then we were like, well, I guess we're doing this now because we actually have content up. And that's literally how it started. So we had gone on this journey, and then it's evolved into something completely different and new than what we had originally kind of.
And a key part to that story is Brittany asked me to do this, and I did not want to do this because I did not want to be in front of the camera. I was like,
shocking.
I don't want to do this. And yeah, I'd say it was more than 2 times. She asked me a few times, and I said, no. And I was like, fine. If we're going to do it, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And when you did that game, so that was on February 9th, 2018 was a date I had pulled on when that first video went up, which probably seems like a lifetime ago now, but again, it's only 2.5, years ago. Did you reach out to the actual developers of the game at all? Or is this just something you just said, you know what, we're just going to grab a game that we see coming up and we're just going to do a video just to kind of see how it goes?
It was the first, well, technically it's the second Kickstarter I ever backed, but the first Kickstarter I backed was Ghostbusters, and I didn't even know what the hell I was doing with Kickstarter. And that was a while ago. And then this one was the first one that I was like, oh, this is cool. Everybody at work is really into it. There was a lot of hype around Rising Sun. I still didn't really know Kickstarter. And then it came in, and we were talking about, okay, well, if you want to do our video, this big box just came in. And thing is, like, we got Rising Sun, and nobody else in the city seemed to have gotten their copy of Rising Sun. So we're like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's do an unboxing. And if you look at that, it's a 9-minute unboxing for Rising Sun. It's not all in, but it's most of the content.
Yep.
And we did it in 9 minutes. Now, if we did an all-in unboxing Rising Sun, it would be 2.5 hours in 4K. So the old version is very ghetto. That's our very first video. It's got a lot to
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and we did. It was rough.
And was it Board Game Coffee right from that first video, or did you kind of come up with a name later saying, okay, we got to kind of skin this with a brand? Or
no, it was Board Game Coffee right away. And we didn't know the name. This is a weird story about how we came up with the name. I don't even know if it's worth getting into, but
always worth getting into, Mark.
Basically, we're trying to come up with a name for this thing. I was like, if we're going to do it, what are we going to call it? And then I was like, hey, so I was like, Brittany, I had a dream. And she's like, okay, about what? I was like, about the name. She's like, ooh, what is it? So I was like, I was sitting with a friend of mine. We were talking about it, and I was telling him the idea. And I said, we're going to call it Board Game Coffee. And he looked at me in my dream and was like, Board Game Coffee? That's stupid. And I woke up and I was like, maybe that's what we should do. And even Brittany was like, what? I was like, I have no better ideas. And it was the only thing that came to me in my dream.
So we went with it.
So that's what we went with.
Oh, I love it. It's a great name.
I love coffee. So it's kind of like, who needs coffee when you are playing board games? So
we all do.
Keeps you energized.
And I think the vibe of the channel too, right? Where it's very, it's almost like you're having a discussion with the audience as you're talking about it. And, often people are having discussions over coffee, right? And they're talking about things, explaining things, telling somebody a story, not a long story. And, that's one thing I noticed too, going through your videos, there is a variance in length, but I'm kind of seeing kind of 2 buckets. I see like a 10-minute, and then I see like a 20-minute, are kind of the 2 core. There's been some longer ones, but most of the videos seem to be in that zone. Is that on purpose, or have you kind of set a template for that? Or
We've no, we pretty much just go until we got all our jokes and all the information that we want to say.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do tell myself, or we do tell me, I guess, because I do the writing for the scripts, for the previews and the reviews,
Yeah.
to like, okay, let's keep them shorter. Let's keep them shorter. Let's get them down. And I'll aim for like, a 3-minute video, and I'll get a 8-minute or 10-minute video. If I aim for a 5-minute video, I'll get a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
So no, I just kind of say what I want to say,
Mhm.
and it takes whatever time it needs to take. And if it's for a joke, I'll put in the extra effort, or we'll put in the extra effort to film it. Actually, we got a video coming up soon, which have got some jokes I actually kind of I quite enjoy,
Yeah.
which we can't say right now.
So
But
how
it's
far out are you working? Like, obviously you guys got a lot of content. Um, you know, the common misconception I think from people who browse YouTube or browse the internet is that, videos are easy. Just record
Oh,
something quick and you throw it up and throw a quick overlay on it. But they take a long time, right? They take a
do.
long time. Can you take us through how long does it take you to put together one of these videos typically?
it depends on the type of video.
Well, like if you were looking at like a preview or a review video,
Yeah. So not unboxing, which you're just like
Yeah.
kind of excited as you're kind of open up like a Christmas gift, but like an actual review or preview video. How long are those taking you?
so those videos, it'll take me about anywhere from say 2 to 3 days, or 2.5 days. And when I say this, keep in mind I have a day job.
Yeah.
So I come home and write these scripts until I get tired. So it's about 2 to 3 evenings where I'll write and finalize a script. And when I say write and finalize, is day one is me getting down my ideas. Day two is me cleaning up the delivery. And day three is adding in all the camera actions and skits where they're going to be filmed and color coding it. So when we're going through, it's as efficient
easy.
as possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we record it in a day or two. We usually do it either, we could possibly do it all on a Saturday, or we usually do all the recordings with like the strictly me speaking to the camera recordings in a day. And then we'll do like any skits the following day. So it's like a day and a half to do the recordings.
But you forgot, we still have to learn the game, play the game multiple times. Like there's still that segment before you even start writing.
Yes,
so,
correct.
Previews can take up to sometimes 2 weeks, depending on how
Wow.
big the game
Yeah,
is.
like if we press
Like if
it,
it's a complex game, it's going to take us time to learn it and play it multiple times in order to get the feel for it.
like if we get a preview video or a review video out in a week, that is a lot of work to get that to like that is not
Probably
the
didn't
pace,
sleep.
that is not the pace that I'd want to be working at to do that.
No.
So that's why the unboxing videos and those are good content to keep getting out in between the reviews and previews.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'd say it takes a week and a half to 2 weeks. And that all depends on, that's taking into account, we have to play the game, learn the game, play the game. I have to then teach the game. We sit down and have a few things. And again, everybody has day jobs.
Yeah.
So
and over the last couple of months, we've actually had probably like 5 or 6 projects on the go at the same time. So we're working on multiple projects at the same time. So that 2 weeks might have other projects in between it as well.
I think we have right now, and sometimes we get projects from publishers or creators who want, they're just not ready to share it yet, but we have their videos already done. So I think currently we have like 5 videos sitting up on YouTube.
So you got some in the can. Okay.
That we can't talk about, but we can't also put them out on our schedule. We're waiting for the go ahead, because a lot of them are like the Kickstarters, and they line up with how the creator wants to promote their game.
Sure.
Right. So it's like, if you want to promote it next Monday, well, we've had it done for 2 weeks, so it sits there until you're done for next Monday. And that's good for us, because it's good when creators give us the time to produce it, because we have gotten the odd request where it's like, hey, our Kickstarter is coming out in 2 days. Any chance you can get us a preview done? And they're like, no. Like, even if you shipped it to us today, still have to learn it and play it, write the script, film it, edit it. I can't do that in 2 days. I don't even think I could do that if I had the days off.
I would say right now we're probably like at that 6-week mark where we're already scheduling for things 6 weeks out, because we have projects coming out in October.
Yeah.
that were already booked. So we're starting to actually, we're getting so many requests now that it's starting to get a little longer, but depends on the size of your game too. Sometimes, or the service that you choose on what we'd be able to accomplish.
And I hope something that everybody understands there is that you hear me say like it's a week and a half to do our videos. I think you need to watch a preview and a review video that we do specifically because all our videos are color coded. Reviews are blue, reviews are yellow. No, reviews are blue, previews are yellow. They have banners on the side, and the quality that we put into our video, I think you kind of see how like the work we put into it. So we're not just sitting and talking off the cuff like we do. We try to do our research, write our scripts, and try to present the information in an entertaining way.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually been we've had people say, I've had this told to us in a negative and a positive way, being like, you guys are like, shut up and sit down. And I was like, that's great. I love those guys. Yeah, but other people are like, you're ripoffs, so shut up and sit down. I was like, why? I was like, that's just how I am. That's how I evolve.
Actually is true. You are. Like, that's what you see on camera is Mark.
It's not like I watch Shut Up. Actually, fun fact is when we jumped into this, I wasn't watching a lot of other content creators because I don't like to be influenced by the people when I'm creating things.
Sure.
So unless I got a block, then I do. But I prefer to try to think of it on the spot. And then I had people come up to me and being like, yeah, your stuff's like shut up and sit down. And I was like, who? Like they're super popular, but I just didn't see them. And then once I saw their content, I was like, oh, I get it. And they're hilarious. Those guys are awesome.
They're awesome.
So I take it as a compliment, and I don't get why there are the odd person that's, not the majority. Our fans like it and they stand up for us. My favorite content is if they're like, shut up and sit down. Does that mean everyone else is like everyone else?
Well, not only that, I think that, the market is so big. There's so many games coming out. There's so many games already out that, I mean, one group cannot handle all of that volume. Like there is plenty of meat on the bone to go around. And I think it's great. I love the personality you guys inject into your videos. I mean, for people that haven't seen these videos, there's costumes in some cases. As you said, you'll have your jokes where you're kind of either you'll be doing jokes or you'll play off each other, which I think is pretty funny. That translates into your Instagram account as well. So there's a lot of good connective tissue between the two social media platforms, which I think is great, but they're not necessarily, one replicating the other. You seem to have unique content in both channels. So, to the trolls out there, the haters, to say, you know what, well, then don't watch us, right? You don't have to. People that watch us that happen to love this. So I'm a fan, obviously. That's why we have you on this show. And so when you started those whole, so you obviously you script these. Is it bullet points or is it like literally you've got like a full script that you're?
It's a full script.
It's a full script.
Wow, good for you.
For previews.
Yeah, for previews and reviews.
Because that's more on the entertainment side.
So like our unboxings are unscripted, playthroughs are unscripted. Those are just, and how to plays are also scripted. So. And
when in the process did you monetize this? So, obviously new content creators, their dream is to be able to monetize it. And, you're not necessarily going to monetize something from day one. At what point in that process, those 2.5 year history, did you say, okay, now we got to, start charging for services and we've got kind of a critical mass? What was that point? What was that trigger for you guys?
I feel that actually happened pretty quick to us because we started getting, we would tell people, it's like, if you want us to do something for your Kickstarter, we'll do it for free. That's how it started.
Wow.
And then we're like, okay, then we'll just charge a little bit because more of them started coming in.
Yeah.
And then too many of them started coming in.
And we couldn't handle
it. And then we got to the point where we're like, okay, we're going to charge a lot. So here's the thing for most, and I speak for all content creators, or at least most, the guys and girls that I know, is that we are undercharging for the amount of work we put into it.
Yes.
If you had your day job and you calculated like how much we would bring in versus how much work we put in to doing these videos, you would be like, whoo, I'd get more work in at McDonald's or wherever. Like or even like, you'd make way more.
Yeah, you would.
But we do it because we love it. We like the challenge. We're trying to grow something. What's it growing into? I don't know. It's kind of like Jack's magic beans. We're just going to sprinkle some water on them or throw them out a window, whatever he did, and see what happens. But yeah, we started monetizing fairly early, but we've never done Patreon or anything like that yet, because a lot of the Patreon content, I don't feel like I'd love to do Patreon, but I feel, to be fair to the people that give you to donate to your channel on Patreon, a lot of people give them something else, but we literally cannot give any more than we are giving.
Yeah.
Because with, again, day jobs and editing all night, that's it. We have no more volume to be like, I'd love to say, oh, we'll do a special video just for you guys for supporting us.
Yeah.
But we can't. we can't do it.
At this time, yeah.
Yeah. So, and
so
things,
what is the suite of goods? So, I mean, you don't have to get into prices. If anybody wants to get prices, they can contact you after the show and reach out to that. But your list of services, what does that kind of entail right now?
Right now, we do, we don't do, let's say this right up front, we do not do reviews upon request or pay. Reviews are all our own opinions, because we don't, it's a conflict of interest. So we will not do reviews for pay. Yeah. But we do previews, where we tell you about the game and don't necessarily give you any strong opinion either way, just kind of give you the information so you can make your own decision. So we do previews, how to plays, playthroughs. We have Instagram packages, and
espresso videos is
espresso videos
series that we have.
So what's an espresso? This one I think is new for me. So what's the espresso?
Yeah, so an espresso video, we're actually working on the content right now, but it's smaller kind of overviews of what the game might be. So they're maybe 3 to 5 minute shareable content.
Okay.
Very fast.
Yeah, unscripted.
Unscripted, us just kind of talking about the game, who it might be for, who might enjoy it.
And it's very much a fact sharing. So if you want to know, like, hey, I want to know something about Spirit Island or whatever, check out our espresso video, and we'll be like, it's this type of games for this many players. This is what the game is about. This is who it's good for, and this is what we think of it. And it's not a full review.
No.
So it's just kind of like off the cuff, our initial thoughts on it and how the game plays, so it's more of an informative video that people can share easily. Because
so it's like a quick overview, I guess would be a better way to describe it. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I would be remiss if I don't mention the people that are in the lobby watching. So you've got a shout out from Richard McCrae, Eric Furston, I butchered your name. So Eric Furston, thanks for joining. Joe Pickus.
Hi, Joe.
Hey.
Richard said he loved you wearing the tutu. He thought that video was great. And then we've got Mike Bruner, which is a great question. He's saying, how do you determine which games you do reviews for? So if the reviews are unpaid, right, it's based on your personal opinion. How do you pick and choose?
Reviews we do based on what we're playing at the, like, obviously we don't do as many reviews as games we play, but it's anything that I might have a strong opinion about that I'd like to share. If I play a game and I'm like, hey, that was okay, and the experience is kind of like, meh, like I don't feel like I gotta tell anybody either way. I don't have a strong opinion either way on a game. There's no review. So, but if I do have a strong opinion on something, like On Mars, we did that. Yep. I got lucky enough to get an early copy of that while I was in Gen Con. A friend of a friend got me a copy. So it came, not Gen Con, sorry, Essen. But so it's all based on our personal feeling. It's not necessarily what's hot or anything. It's just, what are we playing now, and what do I have a strong opinion on? Yeah.
So, and is it always positive opinions? So you'll only do a video if it's a positive, or will you actually get into, look, guys, this is something I didn't like?
I will absolutely do games of videos we don't like, and games that we think are just in the middle. Because sometimes we'll do a video based on like, oh, I was super hyped about this game, and a lot of people that are, and then I played it and I was kind of underwhelmed by the whole thing. But there are some games that I wanted to do I guess what you'd consider a negative video or an underwhelming video review for it. But lucky for those games is we get so tied up in things, and then by the time I sit down to like write down what I didn't like about it, I don't remember. So it's like the emotions have to be fresh, whether positive or negative. But I always try to explain why I like or dislike something. But my reviews do come very much from a personal. I'm not necessarily dissecting mechanics.
Yeah.
It's much more of how I feel personally about those mechanics. So being like, if you're like me, maybe you'll think the same thing. Or so that's what I'm trying to get to, is if you're a person like me, if you watch a channel, you kind of know what we're about. And if I do more reviews, you'll know what kind of things I like. And then maybe I can help you make or find yourself a game you'll enjoy playing, because we're the same, you and I, like that type of mentality.
So when you started, I got to ask, is there any background in theater or any background in being in front of a camera? Like, you're obviously natural in front of a camera. You've got not only the personality for it, but even the awareness of camera angles and so forth and where to look. And was there any experience you had prior to this?
Yes, no. I never, when I grew up in Toronto, and I was born and raised in Toronto, and there's a lot of movie sets there. So I did extra work there. And that was it. So no training per se.
But exposed.
But I worked a lot in those circles, but I wouldn't say that I'm drawing on that experience, because I never really had to do anything. This is really my first time on
Although
camera.
we both have a creative background.
Sure.
Yeah, but not in film.
No, but
I'm an animator.
We already have the creative fundamentals in order to understand what a good composition is.
Sure.
So yes, we're learning it at the same time, but we do have.
But I guess I was answering more the question of like my presence in front of camera.
Oh,
like I don't have any experience in front of a camera doing this. This is my first. I don't have any.
But certainly that artistic background, back to your point, Brittany, I think that can help inform. Okay, this script to the audience, they may not even notice you just switched angles 2 or 3 times in the middle of that, that preamble. But the way it's done and the way it flows in a way that if it's done properly, the audience doesn't notice it. You don't notice it. Okay, they just change the angle and change it back and then change it from a different view. So, I think that's it's pretty cool. I mean, when you watch these videos, and I encourage anybody if they're not watching this yet, check out this channel, check out the content, because not only is it informative, but it's definitely entertaining. Where are you guys going from here? So you both got full-time jobs. You've got pretty much all your spare time maxed out doing Board Game Coffee. Mm-hmm. Is there a scenario where one or both of you move into this full-time, or like what's kind of on the horizon?
Well, we were actually just talking about this before the podcast. I was discussing with Brittany that I think I want to focus more, because we've been putting out a lot of content, taking up a lot of our personal time, which weighs on us, obviously. But we still want to do content to help people if we can. But when it comes to doing our personal content we're not getting paid for, just our own personal reviews, I think we want to put out less content, but put out better quality or higher quality content.
Got it.
So that, I think, is something I'd like to try out. Other than any experiments, like we still want to experiment with new things.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to take a lot of that pressure off ourselves of trying to hit numbers, and we just want to help people. If people come, they will come. We just want to try to make a quality product, a quality video. And it's the if you build it, they will come type of scenario.
Is the analytics a big part of that? Do you guys dive deep into like the YouTube analytics to see, the learning from which videos are generating more views, at what point people drop off and so forth? Or
we should be doing that. We just don't have time to, and that's the honest, transparent truth of we're going with where we're feeling led to go in regards to our videos. But if he's writing, then I'm editing. Then he's polishing and I'm doing Instagram photos, or like we're just always constantly moving. So to be able to go into the analytics side, I know what I should be doing. It's just finding the time to be able to do that between emails and everything else. So,
well, certainly between the two of you guys, I would say you guys are an impressive team. You obviously work very well together. It seems like it's a well-oiled machine. How best can people reach out to you? So after this podcast, if someone's saying, you know what, I got a game and these guys are the fit for the game, how best do they reach you?
Brittany at boardgamecoffee.com.
Yeah, so it's BRITTANY at boardgamecoffee.com. Or you can go to boardgamecoffee.com and contact us through our contact page.
And they can reach you through Instagram as well?
They can reach us through Instagram, but we're just going to direct you right over to my email because we're trying to streamline it. We have so many awesome people who follow the channel, and they're coming from Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and YouTube. So it's just easier to have all the conversations in one place so that nobody gets left out. And that we can get to every email when we can.
If you want a quick response, do what I do and just hit them on every single channel at the same time.
That does work. We appreciate that. We do appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on this podcast. I do appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing more of your videos. Keep them coming.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Take care. Cheers.
See ya.